Nobody tells you this, but the key to effective weight loss is boosting your metabolism naturally.
You know when you're watching a product review online and you just feel completely pulled in, but you can't quite explain why it's so convincing? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to deconstruct the sales pitch for a weight loss supplement called CitrusBurn. Now, this isn't about the product itself, but about the persuasive blueprint they use from the very first second to the very last. Let's dive in.
Right off the bat, the whole thing kicks off with this super simple, almost casual question. But don't let that fool you. This is a classic move to create what's called an information gap. See, our brains just hate not knowing something. So when you hear this, you immediately think, wait, an orange peel trick? What is that? What am I missing out on? And just like that, it's a psychological hook. It makes you stop scrolling and lean in, because you just have to know the answer.
Okay, so they've got your attention. Now what? Well, they go straight for the jugular, the core promise. They're not wasting any time. And this part is designed to tap directly into something almost all of us want, a simple solution to a really, really hard problem.
And here's where they pull out a classic marketing play, the us versus them setup. On one side, you have all the other methods, the hard stuff, the strict diet and exercise that we've all tried and struggled with. And then on the other side, they position CitrusBurn as the total opposite, an effortless solution. It's a really powerful way to frame their product, not just as another option, but as the smarter, easier path.
Now, an effortless solution sounds amazing, right? But it also immediately brings up a huge question. Okay, but how? The pitch knows you're going to think this. It anticipates that skepticism. So the next move is absolutely critical. They have to give you an explanation that sounds just sciencey enough to be believable. And this is where they bring in the big words. Metabolic function, fat oxidation, these terms are chosen very, very deliberately. For most of us, they just sound credible and scientific, even if we don't know the exact biology. It's all about creating an aura of scientific legitimacy. It makes the whole thing feel well-researched and trustworthy.
And then boom, they simplify it all into this tidy three-step process. Just look at those powerful active verbs they use. You ignite your metabolism, you promote fat oxidation, and the grand finale, you become a fat-burning furnace. Honestly, this is storytelling, not a science lecture. It takes the super complex, messy reality of how our bodies work and turns it into this simple, satisfying journey that's easy to follow. It makes the outcome feel totally inevitable.
All right, so the pitch has made a big promise and offered up a slick explanation. But right about now, those little alarm bells in the back of your mind might be starting to go off. Is this stuff safe? Does it even work? Am I about to waste my money? The pitch is ready for this, and this next section is all about shutting down those doubts, one by one.
You can think of these points as a preemptive strike against every single objection you might have. Worried about what you're putting into your body? Don't worry, it's natural, with no stimulants. Worried you're just throwing money away? Hey, there's a money-back guarantee. Concerned about getting a knockoff product? Nope, it's only sold on the official website. Each point is a direct answer to a question you haven't even asked yet, and it just systematically builds up that trust.
Now this part is really, really clever. They tell you that for amazing results, you got to stick with it for 6 months. Now on the surface, that just sounds like they're being responsible and managing your expectations. But think about what it does for the business. First, it encourages you to buy the bigger, more expensive package up front. And second, it pushes the deadline for that money-back guarantee way, way down the road. It's a total win-win for them.
So they've checked all the logical boxes, they've handled your safety concerns, and now the pitch makes its final and honestly its most powerful move. It basically stops trying to convince your brain and starts talking directly to your heart.
Just listen to the language here. Prison, freed, self-love, zest for life. We are definitely not talking about fat oxidation anymore, are we? This right here is the emotional payload. The pitch is creating a direct line between their product and your deepest hopes and desires. To feel free, to love yourself again, to actually feel alive. They're selling a feeling, not just a supplement.
And after hitting that emotional high point, what's the very last thing they do? They give you a simple, clear command. All of that work, the hook, the promise, the science, the reassurance, the emotional appeal, it all gets funneled down to this one single action. Click the link. That's the whole point of the entire pitch.
So what's the big takeaway here? By seeing this whole pitch laid out step by step, we can start to recognize the playbook when we see it again somewhere else. It's not even about this one product, it's about the technique. And it leaves us with a really important question for the next time we see an ad, or a review, or any kind of pitch that promises an easy fix for a hard problem. What are they really selling here, and what's the true cost of clicking that link?